Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, aka Red Arrow, aka Speedy, is a fan favorite Teen Titan, Arrow family member, and even Justice Leaguer, and has more controversial storylines than you would expect. The death of his daughter, thinking a dead cat in an alleyway is his daughter, his own death in Heroes in Crisis, and then the one we're talking about today is when the character revealed to be a drug addict. Now this comes from Green Lantern and Green Arrow issues 85 and 86. Roy has been buying drugs in exchange for Green Arrow's arrows, which of course gets the attention of Oliver. And once he finally discovers this, he reacts in a very uncalm manner, verbally abusing Roy and physically abusing him, before firing him as his sidekick. Now this storyline comes from 1971, and was controversial for many reasons. One of them was because of the Comics Code, which had a ban on a lot of things, from too much violence, homosexual relationships, and drugs. The one used here is heroin, of which is actually used incorrectly. And no, I've never done it. I just know it's not used the way it's actually used in the comic. They seem to kind of be treating it as if it's like magic mushrooms, cocaine, and heroin all at once. Anyways, the code in the 70s started to loosen a little bit, and drugs were allowed to be implemented into comics. So DC made an anti-drug storyline. That being this one. But some fans and parents of fans believed that this was too adult for comics. And complained, and complained, and complained. As comics are typically bought by children. But I personally would argue that the cover makes it very clear what is going to be in this story. And if the parent buys it for the kid, shouldn't the parent also already know? Then just don't buy it for your kid. Also on the cover, it says that this is apparently the youth's biggest problem. Yes, the youth's. Which I don't think anyone ever says anymore. But saying that this is the youth's biggest problem is, in my opinion, a little bit of an overstatement. Especially because we're about to get into another reason why this is so controversial. That being the way how it handles drug addiction. With Oliver straight up abusing Roy. Roy, which is a minor. And Oliver treats Roy as if he isn't worth anything. Addiction is a disease. While here, they treat it as if anyone who's addicted to drugs is a bad person. And it also makes Oliver come across horribly, for obvious reasons. Now, of course, Roy would return as a sidekick again. I don't know why he would ever agree to that. But this whole storyline in itself feels very insensitive to the topic it's attempting to bring attention to. If Oliver was to offer Roy his help by getting off the drugs, I think it would, in my opinion, be a much better storyline. It would show that you don't have to go through it alone and that coming off of drugs is very hard. But instead, Oliver literally assaults Roy, and then proceeds to verbally abuse him, and then physically abuses him even more. Luckily, through retcons and reboots, it seems as if maybe this went down a little bit different. But at Roy's funeral, after he died in Heroes in Crisis, Oliver does say how much he regret how he acted, and how he treated Roy, implying that it did go down similar to how it went actually down in this comic, but I presume about the child abuse, which I think is a good idea. I am happy they're acknowledging the fact that Oliver did treat Roy badly, but it still doesn't bring Oliver exactly in the loop of why he was doing what he was doing. The idea that Roy needed help. Also, I mentioned that this happened in a Green Lantern comic. Well, Green Lantern and Green Arrow, technically. Green Arrow had co-billing, but it would also be just listed as Green Lantern. But I haven't mentioned Hal this entire video. Hal is in this story, but he's really just, like, there as Oliver is assaulting Roy. Personally, I like Roy a lot, and seeing this mistreatment was kind of not something I enjoyed. And I like modern-day Oliver Queen, too. So having this done to the character, which, yes, happened beforehand, but I didn't read it beforehand, because, you know, I'm not from the 70s, just kind of makes me feel very different about the character now. Luckily, though, like I said, through reboots and retcons, there seems to have been made slight tweaks to what have happened here. Anyways, that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.